Hello, it's Dallas here from Digital Influence, here to present to you the Brand Basics workshop, starting with our first module, which is one thing. What one thing can you be known for which will make you stand out from the crowd? Now, this is one of 5 steps in our Brand Basics introductory training. This is the first step, one thing, and then we'll move on to our why, developing our brand, taking our brand online with the digital step, and then finally influence, how we're going to use psychology and understanding our customer to create the change we want. And this is all part of the process of building your digital brand. This is the stuff you need to know before you actually start building things, before you employ a designer or a marketer. If you get this right, then you get everything set up correctly to become more visible, to be more credible, and to be more remarkable in your industry. And that's the foundation of a strong brand. The key to this is being known for one thing, and I'll go into why this is so important. It's much easier to be known for one thing, and it also means that there's no confusion in people's minds. And people love to acclaim and to work with someone who's the best at what they do. They are attracted to people who specialize, who are known for something, and when you attract customers for that, they also tend to assume that you're good at other things as well. So while when you're first setting out to start your business or branding, it's tempting to try to do lots of things, it actually works much better to focus on one specific specialty as your focus and to communicate that very clearly in your marketing, and it will pay off in terms of attracting more clients, being able to charge more, and to be clearer with your clients what sort of work you do. In the online world, this is particularly important just because of the way things like search work. So these figures are a little bit old, but the principle stays true today, that the first few results on a Google search result or any other search engine, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, the first few results get the vast majority of traffic. In this example, the first result gets 43% of the clicks. The last result on the first page only gets clicked by 8% of visitors. And the second page, it drops off even more. So it's essential to be on the first page. It's essential to be near the top of the first page. And ideally, you want to be number 1. So it's better to be the best for a less popular search term than halfway down the 5th page for the top search term in your industry. And we all know this from personal experience. When you're serious about trying to find something, you generally only want to look at the first page and ideally the first few results. It's often only that you actually know that something's there. If you're searching for a business, you already know that you'll trawl through the 2nd and 3rd page. And only when you're really desperate, you'll start to get onto pages 5, 6, and 7. And if you ever find yourself on page 10, then there's usually something going wrong. So if you're on page 2 or beyond, you're pretty much invisible. And this works really well because in practice, you don't necessarily want to rank for the most generic search terms in your industry. In this example, if I've got a medical condition and I need to go and see a surgeon, then if I type in surgeon, I'm probably not anywhere near a buying decision, because when I really am ready to buy, when I'm really serious as a customer, I'm going to be more specific. So I'll be after an orthopedic surgeon, or more likely, I'll type in knee reconstruction, orthopedic surgeon. What that means for you is that while you'll almost certainly never be able to rank on the first page for a generic term like surgeon or even orthopedic surgeon, it's very realistic to rank on the first page with consistent focus and determined effort for a longer search term like knee reconstruction, orthopedic surgeon, or the related term that applies to your industry. If you pick out a single high-value niche and pursue that single niche with a clear focus and consistent effort, then you can rank very well for those terms. And that works in search, but also in word of mouth referrals. If you become known as the best at one specific thing, it's easy to get that reputation and to get referrals for that. Whereas if you're trying to do lots of things, you'll probably fail at all of them. or just get lukewarm results. So what's your one thing? Have you figured it out? How do you zoom in on that and get known for it? Your one thing has different elements that we want to communicate, and they are what you do, what's your business, who you serve, who are your customers, and how do you connect with them? And what are your customers trying to get done? What's the result or the outcome that they're looking for? What are the search terms they're using? How would they describe themselves? And when do they need you? When's the time in their buying process or in their journey when they are most ready to buy from you? Because that's when we want to target them. And then finally, what's the ROI that you deliver? What's the result that you give them? And how can you communicate that so that it's clear to them what they're buying and why they should work with you? These are great things to learn about your one thing, and they're very practical. This is ideal to have in your elevator pitch. It's ideal for a referral elevator pitch, so where you're not trying to sell to someone, but rather you're at a barbecue or a networking event and someone says, oh, what do you do? Rather than trying to sell to that individual, it's often much better to say, oh, I help these people who are trying to get this done. And I generally work with them, when they've reached this milestone in their business or life. And this is the result I give them. So it's a very natural way to communicate what you do. And a great way to zoom in on your one thing is to look at different aspects of it, because any product or service has characteristics that are sort of technical facts and features about that product or service. That's what it is. But often what's more useful in our marketing is what it does. What are the results that it gives? What are the benefits? What does it do for your customer? Because that's often what they're going to care more about than the actual technical details or how it's comprised. They want to buy the result, not the way to get there. That's only incidental to get the result they want. And then finally, what does it mean? If they buy your product or service, what does that then mean they can be, do, or have that they couldn't before? Because a high value product or service often does more than just deliver, a thing that they then have and can use. It then allows them to do new things in their business or their life that they couldn't do previously, and that's where most of the value lies. And this can be looked at as what, how, and why. And if you think of Simon Sinek, start with why, you can imagine that the means, the why, is the most important part. That's often where most of the value lives. Another way of looking at this is the product characteristics is the what, the results it delivers is the does, and the value is what it means to people. We can also talk about features, benefits, and meaning in the same way. So what's your one thing? Once we know your one thing, we can start talking about why it's important, why your customers should care, why they should listen to you and look at purchasing from you rather than someone else. We also need to communicate the value in our business, and we do that partly through our brand. So over the next couple of videos, we'll be doing why and brand, and then we'll be moving on to digital, how we actually get this stuff online, and then finally influence, how we create an outcome through psychology in our sales and marketing material so that we can actually drive people to take the change we want, such as buying our product or service. So that's the end of number one, what, and next we'll go to why, brand, digital, and influence, as we've just discussed. Terrific, thank you. I'll see you in the next video, which will be on why. If you've got any questions, then just type it in below and we'll answer them as best we can. Thank you.